try to their standards. Right. All of it. But why same thing? They y'all every he was going to being accused of rape and all that. There was into the underground dancing. Everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta do though. Yeah. Wait, listen. They talk shit about him too. Right. And then he died. And people talk shit about him. People say he's very sensitive. Same thing with them. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. All the fake support you get. Pop Smoke, same thing. Same thing. Top of the charts when he died. Boy. So you mean to tell me you can't look on social media and see a bad thing about Pop Smoke, a bad thing about Nipsey, no, a bad thing about Pac, no, not a bad thing about Ali, no. But when they was alive, could you say that? How much ridicule was they getting? How many people was trolling them? How many people was talking shit to them? How many people, didn't agree with them for it? Now everybody, no matter what they do, you can look at any flashback clip of them, Pac, anything on Instagram, YouTube, or any of them other. It's gonna be R&B gold, R&B legends, right? Right there, so they just like that. But all the same people, you can't tell me everybody that's saying that didn't switch up and weren't trolling them while they were here. We've seen it firsthand. We have people. I see the comment. I see the profile picture. I see the name. Right. Drove me. 6 months later, I might got a cracking video. Yeah. On type viral. Yeah. I see that same person. Man, when you doing your tag, man, can't even hate, man. You just try to get my life, bro. Like last week. I do that. You know what I'm saying? Same people that it's just crazy, man. I go through it the most. One of the most hated in the game and the most loved in the game. You might be one of the most hated in history. Right. Especially at that small platform, you know what I'm saying? But anybody knows for sure. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it, but it is what it is. It comes with it. And I was always prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I studied certain individuals that went down this path. And I knew the path I was going down. So I was prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? Physically, mentally, and monetarily. But can you say it's a little different once you get here? For sure. It's like you knew it was going to come. Because you said at the beginning, you said, let me tell you something, boy. They're going to be saying this, they're going to be saying that. Now, around this, I've seen it all. It's coming. Right? So it's kind of hitting a little different once you get almost 10 times different. Because now when it happened, I'm like, you three, boy, you was right. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, now that you knew it was going to be this way with you, you knew you was a controversial person. Right. So once you hear it, it's a little different. It's a little bit more harder to deal with. I mean, it's a little. Because you're tough, but you're human, bro. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Hardcore. But it is more difficult to absorb it, especially like people around you. Because I kind of was prepared for it, but everybody else. So that throws you off when people ask you certain questions, don't understand them. You gotta keep going. No, it's not real. These are just fake people. So it like really affects you because like they don't get it, and they're not supposed to get it. But I do. But does it take its toll? Not really, because I was built for this. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew this was gonna come. You know what I mean? So I just look at it like, okay, it's here. You know what I mean? Let's go to war. It's a war. But that shit do get annoying. It's annoying. Because it's like, how you gonna? It's not gonna make you stop grinding. How you gonna troll people with lies? Or troll people with that stuff that's not true. Please explain that to people, brother. Break it down, because for the people, you're everyday person, right? That's thinking about going YouTube, right? Like you might got a great idea, right? And you might be doing some groundbreaking, innovative shit. But there's gonna be some people that aren't gonna agree with you, that aren't gonna like how you do things, that aren't gonna like how confident you are, aren't gonna like how you talk. If you're doing anything, giving any type of individual personality outside of the craft that you're trying, or the genre that you're trying to hop into, they might not like that. So for those people, what would you tell them? I'm just telling you, you want people say that, but it's very, very true. Because if people are taking their, because you gotta think about it, if someone's sitting there watching every video, they know every single little thing that's in the background, everything from the 1 minute mark to the end of the 20 minutes. They dedicate their life and their time to you. Like, they might be hating and talking stuff about you, but they really love you. Haters love because they spending all this time dedicated to you. Now, so you gotta know that what comes with it, and you gotta accept it, and then you gotta put on top of that it's not your real life. Like no one's gonna really come and affect you like that. Like they say, this crazy kamikaze, which could happen. You know what I'm saying? But really, you're not gonna walk down the street and hear this. You're not gonna walk down the street and feel this. But it's just on your phone. It's gonna be on the internet. Okay, so prepare yourself for it. Just know it's not real, but it's gonna come. Just prepare your mind. But it may somebody trying to fight Mike Tyson. Like, oh, that's what I said. It may be a kamikaze person that will try. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody I love you would try. John Lennon, you know what I'm saying? The Versace, you know, that's so real, man. You know what I'm saying? Stuff Versace, John Lennon. Yeah. Shit, you can't say Pac because he said he rocked Pac. Right. Ain't nobody in touch me. You know what I'm saying? They said, I always say that I ain't untouchable, but trust and believe. You touch me, I'm touching back. You know what I'm saying? In the most graphic manner possible. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I can't even disagree with you on that because I would like to try to say that. I would think I would try to turn the other cheek, but right, we know that. Yeah, we know that. But I just say, man, when it comes to that stuff, man, you know, I deal with it always. And tell you the truth, I deal with it my whole life. I always was a loved person. Like, no one ever played with me. No one ever talked. I never was played with or talked about my whole life. So it's safe to say this is the first time it's ever happened. Yeah, but I knew it was gonna happen once I get to those skills because it's people. Everybody will talk about the person at the cool table, but they can't because they're too far from the side. But it shows people to get to the cool table. It gives people a voice that shouldn't have one. Right. So they get to talk to the person at the cool table, disrespect them. They really couldn't do it before. Now they can. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the cool table. People want to throw their basket tables over here. The only thing about being at the cool table is that you say something to the cool person. You can't say that to them. To the other like that. Yeah, so I think it definitely gives people a voice. Because then they get mad if you roast them back. Like, because I love big game because I'm a roaster of all roasters. Right. But you can't say nothing, which is crazy. So that's the thing I have to adjust. Yeah. Because it's abnormal. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people I come on. Wrong with Kevin Durant arguing with people. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do it yourself. I just don't want them hiding though. Because that's funny when you get caught. Yeah, but he kind of tight gotta hide. You do. He can't. Nike and all these people, they can't do it. That's what I'm saying. You can't do that, bro. So you gotta train yourself not to say that. And that's what I've done. I used to always go back and forth with people, but you can't beat them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you that right now. You can't beat them, so you just allow them to be there. And just stay on your lane, doing you. If you're doing something right, live your life. That's all. There's no entertainment. But you know it's there. And it's gonna make your name bigger though. The most controversial figures have the most money. The most controversial figures are the biggest. That's how it goes. Okay, we know a little controversial, right? Right. But the thing is, come on, get in there, fuck. Made some night and day leaps as far as growth and progression. Just as a man, like, you know what I'm saying? Just like as being a good person, like the list goes on and on, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're top level nigga, you make some top level changes in your life. Right? You're one of my best friends, and I can see you more considerate. I can see you're more caring, you're more compassionate, you're more considerate of people's feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're a lot more patient with people. You know what I'm saying? This is a bunch of things. It's an onslaught of things that you've gotten better at, bro. So it's like, it shows in your videos, it shows in how you talk. So it's like, for me, if somebody dislikes you or you're talking greasy about you, you know what I'm saying? It's like, also talk about the changes that have been made. Don't just talk about, you know, what he used to be. Talk about who he currently is now, too. I appreciate that because it has been a lot of growth on with me. Not only just my mental, but just like I said, the day I got my Rolls Royce, I really felt that I had a purpose because I did the unbelievable. I truly driven that car my whole life. I didn't talk about it so much. To own that and have that in my possession, it's like awesome. Yeah, it's like people gotta understand this. Didn't have nothing. No one gave me nothing. I just driven this and worked hard for it. That means that I can get the same energy understanding I had back to the people. They can do this stuff too. And it might not be a Rolls Royce, it might be a business, it might be whatever it is. You can really might be a Hellcat, it might be whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's possible. So that's when I started changing. And when I started calm down, like my ego and like I'm that dude, even though I still feel that, but it ain't my job to impose that upon people. I felt it on purpose to give people motivation, inspiration, and dedication to themselves and others around them. That's just how I move. People took it for granted, like all of a sudden, oh, he's a guru, no, he's that. No, I'm still that. Don't play with me. Right. But why not give people positive energy? Why not tell people you can do this too when I know that's exactly what I did? Like, what's wrong with that? But don't think I'm Mr. Rogers. I'm not. Right. I'm saying I'm not nobody to play with. I still got my own beliefs. I'm still controversial. But I'd rather give that positive energy and that motivation to people than just all that wild stuff.
Come on, what are you doing?
Still me. But that ain't what I want to give my people. Right. People, Pac said something. I posted this on my IG story the other day. Pac said in an interview one time, he said, you know, people look at you like you're a role model. He said, I'm a real model. And for the people out there watching and hearing this, man, that's some of the realest shit a person could ever say because, you know, yeah, you could be a role model, people could look at you and be like, oh yeah, but if people don't know you have flaws, people don't know you're perfect, that's not a real model. A real model is a person that makes mistakes. Right. A real model is a person that lets you know who they are, lets you know what they struggle with, let you know I got anger problems, let you know I got learning disability. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let you know like I'm not a person you play with, I got real life problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm missing chromosomes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real model. I want you to know, like, when Pac got mad, he spit in the camera, like, you don't think he thought about that? I feel like, man, maybe I could have lost it in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real model. You know what I'm saying? So I think the best thing you can do for people that rock with you and follow you is to show that you're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? There's no perfect person. There's no perfect plan. And everybody is their self. Be your own self. And it's okay to be different. See, other people run into all these mental health problems and all that shit, trying to keep up with the Jones. Right. Like, man, stop it. The most iconic people was the different ones. Yep. Was the weird ones. Was the funny looking ones. They might not be the most mainstream ones, but they were the most iconic. You know what I'm saying? Of all time, it will be remembered. So whatever you are, be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Just move in a positive energy. And they'll take care of everything else. That's the best attribute anybody in this world has. You know what I'm saying? If you can learn to be yourself, oh man. Because when I say learn to be yourself, everybody is themselves from the seed, right? For sure. But we go through this thing called life. And what happens in this thing called life is that there's so many people that try to convert you to their ways. Right. Just to tell you what they should do. Right. So you lose yourself in the sauce. Right. So you slowly but surely, over growing up and being an adult, you gotta learn how to look real in deep with yourself and be like, what do I want? Who am I? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is important to me? What am I passionate about? What are my true beliefs? Not what was taught to me. Right. How do I feel? And then once you tap into that, and you learn to monetize that, you win the life. Whatever you can monetize me, yourself, me and my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? It's the best job in the world. Like, yeah, we are. You ask me what I do for a living. I always say one thing: do me. Do me for a living. All praise the Most High. Blessings, man. Check it out. And I'll be back. We got the Top of the New podcast going. And we'll keep on going. It's gonna keep on going. We actually had no structure. We just went crazy. We just went crazy. Top of the book, man. Typically, top of the book. We're trying to get it out of the system. You know what I'm saying? Next episode, we're gonna break it down more. And we gotta talk about my dog being in a relationship. He has been silent. Oh, that's real. To the bone gristle. All y'all gotta do is go back to the other episodes and all the talking I was talking about that. That same thing sprouted. That seed sprouted up to a tree. So $20 bill. And apparently Joe Biden has decided that he wants to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. I don't know if he's going to if that's a reparation check or not. But Joe Biden has made that announcement that he wants to hurry up and expeditiously, like he wants to put a hurry on that process of getting Harriet's face on the $20 bill. So joining me to discuss this issue is my all-black intellectual chocolate panel. I hope you'll take a second to say hello to them. Put your hashtag B1 in the chat. We got John F. Thomas, who's an award-winning filmmaker out of LA. How you doing, John? Good to see you. I see you all as well. All right, we got Jeff Lightsey Jr. from the Black Boss Channel. What's going on, Jeff? All right, we got the one and only Madam President. How you doing? I'm excellent. All right, and we got Tariq Abdul Khalik, the smartest black man in the universe. What's going on, Tariq? Hey, y'all. What's good? All right, and we have the amazing Dr. Charm Timms. Did I say that right? That's your last name, Charm? Yes, you did. Yes, and very, very smart black people. Some nice, healthy, wonderful, intelligent black people speaking tonight on this important issue. Everybody in the audience, take 1 second, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, put your hashtag B1 in the chat if you agree that black people should come first. So let's start off. I'll start off with you. Madam President, I know that this topic got you real fired up. And so Joe Biden has basically stated that he wants to get Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill as soon as possible. That is the first agenda item that he's pushing. I don't know if this is going to be an executive order or not, but what do you think about that? What were your thoughts when you heard about this? I am screaming on the inside, okay? I am screaming from the top of my lungs. Let me tell you something. Do you want money or do you want a picture of money? Right. I don't care who is on that $20 bill. Run me my check, okay? Hell let me tell you something. Harriet Tubman spent years escaping white people. She wouldn't want this bullshit. She like, don't put me on that shit. Give me the money. Don't put me on it. Harriet Tubman was a woman that. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? White folks wouldn't even go for that. Asians like, what the fuck? No, give me money. I don't want you. But do you think Harriet Tubman would have stopped her progression of freedom for a $20 bill, for a picture, for a moment? This woman was about real freedom. She was not about like, let me just go ahead and get free by myself. Let me go ahead and hang out with folks by myself. Let me live somewhere else by myself. She wanted her people included. So you cannot pay homage to Harriet Tubman and do not pay homage to her children by giving them reparations, giving them something tangible. We do not need any more symbols of freedom. Right. We need the real deal, okay? Yeah, give me freedom. Don't give me. Game with white supremacy and white America. There is no white person on this planet that will get enough 20s to take care of their students. Speak. They're not going to get enough 20s to take care of the discrepancy in housing. So that doesn't mean anything who you put on the dollar bill. If the poor people who can't get the money still can't get the money, who cares who's on the money? Right. All right. So who cares who's on the money? All right, let the church say amen. 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 Yeah. All right. Already. All right. So let me come to we got the Supreme. This seems to be a lot of people seem that this sort of fits into the pattern of symbolism. Rather than actually giving you this equality, whatever it is that they claim to give us, rather than giving you equality, we're going to give you a picture of equality or the perception or the image of equality. What do you think? I mean, does it mean anything that Harriet's on the $20 bill? What does it mean to you? No, it means absolutely nothing because our socioeconomic situation is still not addressed. And actions like this is really designed to pacify black people. It's designed to say, you see, this is why we need to keep supporting Democrats. Because they do things like this. They put black women on the $20 bill. They elevate LGBT black people to certain positions of power. So this is how we are as a race political. We are looked at as a race standards. We're not looked at as a race to take seriously, to develop agendas and implement to improve the community. And to be honest, the only way for this to change is for black people to politically mature. We need to stop telling Joe Biden we need X, Y, Z amount of black people in certain positions. If all the black people are going to do is do whatever white people do when they get in those positions and ignore you, we need to start saying, Joe Biden, when I start dancing, we want you to address our economic situation. If you keep asking for our vote, we need something tangible in return. Stop doing these stupid Harriet Tubman's on dollar bills and trying to pass by. But feel me. The problem is you are going to see black media celebrating the move of Joe Biden with further psychological programs so they enjoy symbolism. That's it. Okay, so let me go to Jeff Lightsey Jr. So Jeff, it seems to me that it's almost as if certain people just aren't being heard. That we're not even we can scream this all day long. Madam President is clearly upset about it. It's almost like I think we might be unanimous. So, let me take a vote on the panel. How many of you think that this Harriet Tubman move is gaslighting? That it's some BS? That it's just some symbolism to replace substance? Raise your hand. Everybody, give me a yes or no in the chat if you think that this is just BS. If you think it's legit, then say no. But how many of you by hand raise? Hey, Dr. Charm, can you hear me? Yes. Oh, I think Dr. Charm is frozen. All the panelists, raise your hand if you think that this is some BS. And everybody in the chat say yes if you think it's BS. Okay, I see. Okay, so this is this is kind of an interesting topic because everybody's kind of thinking the same thing. So it would seem to me that if you have millions of black people who are looking at this and saying, "What is this nonsense?" that they would respond to that. But it seems to me like they're not really hearing that and they're tone deaf to it. What are your thoughts on that? So it's very true. Here's the thing about the Harriet Tubman thing on the $20 bill. In my maybe I might be alone on this in the panels. I don't find it as a bad thing, right? Like, yeah, Harriet Tubman can be on the $20 bill. That's cool. Like,
yeah, ain't reparations, so.
I don't care. Make up a new bill. With Harriet Tubman. That honestly, that means nothing to me. But okay, that's cool. But where's the rest, right? Like that's cool. Like symbolism to a certain extent can be good. It can be beneficial in some aspects, but it can't end it. That's where I'm getting at. Like yeah, you can put Harriet Tubman and tell the story of Harriet Tubman and have people across the country, people that may have not known about Harriet, even black folks that aren't well educated on her story or history or whatever. But it shouldn't just end there, right? Like just because she's on the $20 bill doesn't stop you or doesn't prevent you from doing what you do, right? Like just because you do, like hey, boys, you owe me $100. It's like Jeff, man, your hat looks nice today. It's like oh, thanks. I like that I have a nice hat, but you still owe me my $100, right? Like you still need to run me my money. You still need to run me what you owe me. So thanks for the compliment. Thanks for doing this. You might even educate some people. Hell, you might even go buy you a hat like this. But at the end of the day, you still owe me what you do. And so that's what I mean by it's not all a bad thing, but we can't ignore what's actually owed in the end. So, Dr. Charm, it seems like what has to be made clear in this whole debate is that this is not anti-Harriet Tubman. Like, we don't want them to do a Colin Kaepernick where everybody thought he was protesting the flag. You know how people just deliberately, it's just propaganda, by the way. When they will deliberately misinterpret your message intentionally just so they can try to make people stupid. So I think it's important for the dummies out here to help them understand this is not anti-Harriet Tubman. This is not to say that it can't be appreciated that she's on the $20 bill. She deserves it. But it almost seems to say that there's a need for more. Dr. Charm, what do you think about that argument? And also, if you were to add more to that in terms of what they need to do, what would you add on to the mix, Dr. Charm?
I'll tell you what the irony of all this is. First of all, shout out to that girlfriend. You brought it down. I feel like, I need to get my, I had to break this down. The irony of all of this is at the info is that Harriet Tubman was a Union spy, a scout, and a nurse. Had it not been for her efforts, the Union would not have won the Civil War. When she became she never got a military pension for her service to the Union Army. No, she also did guerrilla, influence some of this guerrilla warfare that was going on. So she never got a military pension for her service. She got $8 a month because her second husband was a former soldier. So she was able to get $8 a month when he died, after his death. And then they had to pass a congressional act for her to get more money. And guess how much money she ended up getting per month after this congressional action was done?
I don't know.
$20.
Wow. Interesting.
That's how much that she got. She got $20 a month. So we're not going to go here and talk about $20. They want to plaster Harriet Tubman all across the $20 bill when you had to have a congressional act for this woman who was pretty much a Union soldier to get $20 a month in pension. And she only got that $20 for the last 13 years of her life. So, yeah, so this symbolism, you talk about symbolism, I mean, white people know symbolism more than anybody else. And so the fact that Harriet Tubman got $20 a month after the congressional act, and now they want to put her on the $20 bill is a slap in the face. It's a complete slap in the face. We actually should be insulted. I was one of the ones when I saw it, I was proud and everything. But now looking at it, to say $20, put on the $20 bill when the median black family household net worth is $1,700. The median white household's net worth is $116,000. Our net worth went down from $6,800 in net worth, all the well combined, minus expenses and all that. And white people's bill. We don't have $20 to rub together collectively as a group in wealth.
Wow. Well, you know what, John Thomas. You know, one of the things that I was thinking about is that it's real funny if you know, we know it seems to me that the majority of the people listening agree that the government owes black people trillions of dollars for reparations because this wealth was stolen. This is not a debate anymore. This was documented, it's proven,
Man.
and it's almost just such an ironic thing to say. Not only am I not going to pay you back the money I stole from you, but I'm going to put your face on the money that I stole from you when I put that money right back in my pocket. You know, that just almost just is infuriating. I mean, don't you think? I mean, what do you think about that in terms of their lack of acknowledgement that this money is owed to us and you're not paying us, and you somehow think putting our face on the money that you're keeping is going to make us feel better. What do you think about that, John?
It's basically anti-Semitism. It is really disrespectful. I mean, on one hand, it's a nice gesture, like that's nice, but also, what are you doing to fix the root of the problem? I mean, that's similar to if the White House said we're going to name the street in front of the White House Black Lives Matter Act. And it was like, okay, yeah, that's nice, but there's a lot of people in D.C., black people, that are still struggling. What are you going to do about that? And similar to the NFL creating these NFL programs catered to now bringing attention to the black community, the stuff that Colin Kaepernick was talking about. But you didn't hire Colin Kaepernick, the dude that was bringing attention to that in the first place. You're leaving him out. You're cutting him out. So how is this still a good thing? Yeah, like that's nice, but do right. Do right by us. And doing right by us is getting all of our people out of jail who have been in mass incarcerated, because we are filling out most of the jails. That is pumping money into our communities. That's giving us 40 acres and a mule that we never really received. But the programs created for white people and white immigrants and giving them land, basically just handing land away from them and teaching them how to do it. But with us, you didn't do that with us. And here we are still saving their political assets, time and time again. And even Stacey Abrams went through above and beyond what Democrats have ever done in Georgia. Black people, a black woman.
Oh, come on.
And this is the things we get. We're going to put a black person on the $20 bill, but we're going to get a little bit of money anyway. We're not going to fix your problem. Just like Dr. Trump said, you can barely get your hand on the $20 bill. But we're going to have keep building our wealth. And actually, we're going to bring in immigrants to take more jobs from you, not building any industries within your own communities, and saying we're going to create jobs, but the jobs are slowly disappearing. So what jobs are we going to have after a while?
Well, you know what? I want to ask you, Jeff Lyson Jr., you're a sports guy, and I was watching, you and I were debating sports right before this panel started, and Jeff knows all about sports. He's on the Black Boss channel. So, Jeff, I was watching the game. I mean, since somebody brought up the NFL and Jay-Z and Kaepernick and everything else, and I had a moment of reflection where I thought about just how crafty people can be with media. And media and politics are connected, right? That's how they manipulate you politically, is through the media. And I thought about how, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just went to the Super Bowl, which was really fun to watch. And I thought about it, I said, it's amazing how quietly Antonio Brown just sort of slid right back into the NFL. They said nothing, right? And then I said, wow, Tyreek Hill, I remember when Tyreek Hill was having some crazy drama, and now he's like the star. And I said, the NFL is so slick with their PR. And then I started thinking about, and not that I'm upset about that. I mean, it's up to the brother, that's fine. But then I thought about, I said, what about Jay-Z and this Kaepernick thing? Kaepernick, the discussion about Kaepernick and what he was protesting has almost completely disappeared. I haven't seen any evidence that anything has changed in the NFL since they hired Jay-Z. It's almost like they paid him off to just kind of make the issue go away. Like he's the cleanup man. And it's not the only time he's done that. He did that like in the Brooklyn Nets. He was a cleanup man. Because Cornel West and a couple other people were actually leading protests to force the owners, the Russian owners, to create jobs for people in that community. They knew that the gentrification was coming and all that. But when they got Jay-Z and paid him and put him on the billboard, it made it go away. So it's almost like there are things that are done that kind of rock us to sleep. I think that's what I'm getting at, right? So speaking just in the world of sports, and specifically talking about the Jay-Z thing as a case in point, what in the fuck Jay-Z done to change anything in the NFL? I hate to be like that, but I cannot think of anything that's happened differently in the NFL because of Jay-Z's presence. Can you please enlighten me, man? You're the sports guy. Tell me what's going on. I can tell you that Jay-Z made the Kaepernick thing like a great magician. Make it go away, right? Like it made it like look over here because the NFL was losing. You guys don't remember because Donald Trump was hating on the NFL and all these people were mad. So you had right wingers that hated the NFL because they were allowing the players to kneel. And you had black people and less wingers was hating the NFL because they let Cap get out the league and didn't bring him back and all this stuff. So the NFL was having like a hard time on both ends. So what this is just me. No, I've not spoken. Let me make it clear. I've not spoken to anybody from the NFL. But this is just me. The NFL, because their owners are billionaires, they're more likely to lean towards Republican or conservative. They were like, okay, we can handle the billionaires, right? Like we can get them back on board. We need Jay-Z to get the black folks back on board. We need Jay-Z to get, to be like the great musician and come through and make something happen to where the Kaepernick conversation never completely goes away. It can never really go away, but it can die down. It can get some of those people who were Team Cap all the way back to watching Super Bowl games and back to watching Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, right? So that's kind of what he did. I mean, essentially, when Jay-Z got brought in, they said they worked Cap out, and then they flipped it on Cap. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but Cap, they said, okay, we're going to set up this in Atlanta on a random Saturday during the NFL season, and we'll have teams come in and watch Cap. And then Cap was like, hold on, like, y'all just throwing this on me, and I don't get to dictate anything that's going on, and then also I can't take the film and send it out myself. It's like, no, I'm not doing it that way. I'm going to set up my own workout an hour outside of Atlanta and do that kind of stuff. And so when that happened, and because Jay-Z was in conjunction with like Stephen A. Smith and some other guys that made that workout happen, Cap kind of like took the alternative route. That's when they were like, well, see, we tried to give him a chance. We tried to give him a chance, and he didn't take it. He was ungrateful. And that's what they kind of did. So like you said, it's about media, PR. That's how they kind of flipped it. So that's what Jay-Z ultimately was brought in to do. I think also what happens with that is, bring in and just kind of make the Kaepernick thing.
Come on, coach.
Yeah, so Dr. Charm, one of the things that seems to me that in terms of political rope-a-dopes that are used is it's like okay, we're not really gonna this is one of many tactics. It's like we're not really gonna say that we're doing nothing for you. Like we're never gonna tell black people like, look, we're not gonna do reparations. We're not gonna do this. Not gonna do that, right? Because that's gonna cause an issue, right? And in fact, even when if you really think about that one Zoom call where Biden was yelling at all of our black leaders, so-called black leaders, he's supposed to be leaders, and they up here looking like a bunch of punks, getting yelled at. But Biden was actually saying no to it, right? And you saw what an uproar that was. So it almost seems that the tactic they use is one that I've actually seen this in China. When I was in China, I noticed that a lot of people would never say no to you. They would just say, we'll see. Or they'll say, okay, let me think about it. Like, you'd be like, so, can you give me $10 million?
Come on.
For a child? And they'll be like, let me think about it. And it almost seems like with politicians, that's what you get. Like, so essentially, if they go and say, well, look, it's not like we're not doing anything for black people. Look, we gave them this thing over here that nobody asked for, but we decided we're going to give this to them. We put Harry Tubman on the $20 bill. We painted Black Lives Matter on the stop sign. And we put a basketball court in the local elementary school. And so black people got something out of this. What do you think in terms of games that are being played, and how does that make you feel?
As Dr. Claude Anderson always says, we are still under a policy of benign neglect. From the Daniel Patrick Moynihan report, they explicitly said, he was on Nixon's staff, he explicitly said, hey, when we use race and talk about racial things, then, black people are able to get and utilize that as a bargaining chip and be able to work with that when we say race. So we're not going to say race anymore. We're going to use other terms and other things. We're going to do this whole benign neglect thing. And that's what we've been under, and that's what we continue to be under. And we're the only group that's under it. The Hispanic they're about to get paid. They're about to have the 11 billion people on an 8-year path to citizenship, whether they came here legally, illegally, the DACA. They're about to get DACA. And hey, they did their quid pro quo. They say, hey, we're gonna vote for you, we're gonna get something in return. So I cannot fault them. Black people, we gotta save the day. We've got to be what does the CDC say? They the moral compass of Congress or whatever the hell they're saying. I think they had to, after pressure, they finally did have to change their mission statement, saying that they.
Come on, he was in the pain for hello. I'm like, what the fuck?
So why are we the only group that we cannot save? We need something for black people and not feel guilty or ashamed about it. You see, Ice Cube tried to work bipartisan, and those Democrats attacked him. He got attacked by the liberals more than anybody else.
Right.
So we're still in a benign effect, and until we make some really, really critical and really stringent type of decisions, we're gonna still be in a benign.
So, Tariq, why do you think that we? So let me actually, I want you to respond to this, Tariq. But as Dr. Charles was speaking, she's such a smart black woman. I was doing research and I wanted to get the specific definition of the term benign neglect, because y'all know that this is a platform for intelligent black people. So we're not gonna let you come up in here and not be smarter when you walk up out of here. So here's the definition of benign neglect. It says an attitude or policy of ignoring an often delicate or undesirable situation that one is held to be responsible for dealing with. Another definition is that it refers to, now it's funny, the word benign actually refers to like a condition, a tumor or growth that's not cancerous. So it's like a cancer that is not spread to other parts of the body. It doesn't invade nearby tissue. So it's interesting when you sort of conjoin those definitions and you think about the cancer that is racial oppression, right? The cancer that is the growing black rage that I think a lot of people feel for being ignored for so long. And it's the difficult issue that they kind of ignore. And actually, benign neglect can even be applied to a spouse, a husband who knows that there's an issue in the family and he refuses to address it, and it's only going to make it worse. So T, I'd like to ask you that question. When you think about benign neglect and the deliberate decision that they make to consistently rely on that policy as opposed to addressing the issue head on, why might that be a rational decision for them? Why do you think that they stick with that even when people are telling them this isn't going to work?
Because they see no consequence for the black people. That's what it is. They know, I mean, our people, sadly, we are a very predictable people. And it's frustrating. We know how black people are going to vote. Every 2 years, we get into House and Senate is up for re-election. We will automatically, as a collective, default to Democrats. Why? It's because we got people scaring us that the only white supremacists, and that word is only used aimed towards Republicans. The only white supremacists in this country are white liberal Republicans. Therefore, out of fear, we need to stick with the Democrats. And we're going to do that again the next election. And this is why the Democrats continue to do that, because they know our race will never hold them accountable. We never will. When Joe Biden did co-opted the crime bill, did we hold him accountable? Did we, as a collective?
Come on.
No, we did nothing. When he went on Charlemagne and God show, because Democrats assume that when they go on the Breakfast Club, all those Negroes are just retarded. Until Charlemagne and God was actually asking them questions directly dealing with the black community, he got upset and he's like, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. See, they're not using the black people pushing back. And then after all those insults, after Joe Biden even said after him even said that, we even defended it. I even saw JaVale Hill right on Twitter. I know what he means. If you're not voting with us, then you are not a part of our community. So this is the problem. We black people tell the Democrats that this is what our race is like. We just want to feel good. We just want you to pat us on the back. You can sprinkle a couple of black people in your cabinet and make it all diverse. We don't care what gender they are, as long as they're black, we are fine. So it's really on black people to finally say enough is enough as a collective and administer a public consequence. I think it really is.
All right, thank you. Thanks for that, guys. I apologize for that. So, Madam President, it seems to me like this is almost like a type of voter suppression. That says, that if you have Jamel or anybody telling black people that you have to support something you don't believe in or something that you don't think is good for your community, then we're going to punish you. We're going to punish you more for not standing by the racists than we'll punish you for actually trying to liberate us from the racists, right? Because there are people that it seems to me like they love Joe Biden more than they like somebody like an Ice Cube. And I find that really, I personally have a hard time understanding that, how you can actually love your oppressor more than you love somebody who tries to liberate you from the oppression. But it almost reminds me of maybe an alcoholic who gets mad at you because you take the liquor bottle out of his hand. Or a drug addict, when you tell them, they get mad, they get yanked out of the crack house. Is there some sort of addiction going on, like an addiction to white supremacy or an addiction to validation from white people, an addiction to simply doing what we've always done, or an addiction to the Democratic Party? What do you think's going on here, Madam President?
Well, a couple things. One of the things is free thinking and being a leader. It's not our strong suit because we were once, descendants of slaves. So you have a lot of black people that just do not think of themselves. So once you have that dynamic, where you don't have a lot of people who are thinking for themselves, and I've used this analysis before. White people were taught that they are God. Black people are taught to serve and worship God. So when you have a group of people, and when I say this, I don't want people to start thinking like, oh man, now she just have black folks just worshiping the white man. No, what I'm saying is, when you pray for a God, what you ask for, you ask for good health, you ask for a clothes on your back and a roof over your head, those kind of power dynamics that make you praise and worship, right? Well, white people have been in a position to be the provider of the house that you live in, the job that you have access to, the education system that you have, and even something like the music industry, white people over the music that's through the airwaves. So you've got these white people that have so much control over the life of black people in all aspects of it, even in how they the identity, how they speak, where we live, what we do, right? So a lot of times, even from a political standpoint, we're not free thinkers. When you think about our grandparents, when you think about how Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall, I was just a little girl at that time. But when Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall and he played the saxophone, black people were moved.
Come on, God damn it!
White folks that was moved and said, oh, he had their sons in prison for a very long time. Some died in prison. They'll never see them again. But what I noticed is they will say that Bill Clinton is still invited to the cookout. So how can a man that put your cousin and your uncle and your auntie in jail for years at a time be responsible for orchestrating something so malice? How could you allow them to the cookout? But they constantly do. They will not hold him accountable. So we don't even hold white supremacy accountable. But when Ice Cube present an idea, when Ice Cube say, hey, look, I want us to be collectively well, all of a sudden he started attacking him. And this is why I am for reparations. You know why? Because the cancer of white supremacy is through the veins of black people. It is too deep, okay? And let me tell you, when a doctor comes and a cancer patient, he can't do anything else for a cancer patient. He says, I think that it's time to let this patient be comfortable.
This is 20 and 6.
That's